Hi, my name is Millie and I'm a 12-year-old who's passionate about things like biology, sailing, and herpetology. Today I'll discuss how I share my passions and experiences through the world with my blog. I hope that I can inspire you to start a blog of your own. Plus, by the end of this presentation, you'll know some tips and tricks along the way. Let's begin by talking about the blog itself. I've been blogging for over 2 years and have published 36 blog posts at the time this presentation was made. My favorite topics to write about are herpetology, sailing, and the classes I'm currently taking. One of the reasons I love to write about my personal experiences is to educate and inspire others. Another reason is that blogging about your adventures can improve your writing skills, which is the perfect excuse for when your mom asks why you've been up all night on a computer. It can also boost your memory by making you reflect on those classic moments, like that time you thought you saw a monster, but it was just a squirrel. Reflecting on these experiences helps you understand what went down and why it was so unforgettable. One of my favorite recent experiences was getting to work with the Amphibian Foundation, or AF for short. It all started when I attended the Junior Master Herpetologist online program hosted by the AF. I had so much fun in that class and got to learn about animals I'd never heard of before, like tuataras and caecilians. You can read more about this online course and these amazing animals on my blog. I investigated the AF and attended their open house. I then requested an interview so I could learn even more. Soon I interviewed the co-founders, Mark and Crystal Mandica. They shared so much fascinating knowledge with me and gave me the basics of field herpetology. As you might have assumed, yes, I did publish a blog on my interview, so check that out. During this interview, I was invited to Pigeon Mountain in northwest Georgia to help the AF field research team catch and swab salamanders to collect data on the health of their very limited population. And I wrote another blog on this as well. Each event led to the next until I found myself thrown deep into the world of herpetology. I learned so many things about reptiles and amphibians and what it's like to be a field herpetologist. This inspired me to write a total of 4 blogs on the AF. My journey to become a junior master herpetologist, my first interview at the Amphibian Foundation, my adventures at Pigeon Mountain, Part 1, Into the Caves, and finally, my adventures at Pigeon Mountain, Part 2, Swabbing for a Cause. I found that it was really easy to write these blogs because I'm just so passionate about the topics. I never anticipated that the Amphibian Foundation would become such a significant part of my writing, and I feel lucky to have been able to work with them and have them turn into such an inspiration for my blog. So, now you might be thinking, how am I supposed to turn an adventure into a narrative? Let me show you. The first thing I do when writing my articles is make an outline. I need to know what I'm going to say and where before I can jump into the writing. Outlining can differ depending on what type of blog you're going to write. For example, if I'm writing a fictional story, then I'll skip the outlining and jump straight into the next step, drafting, or writing the bulk of my articles. Sometimes I'll have to do some extra research for the drafting step, whether it be to inject some facts, ensure I'm using the correct terms, or finding ways to inject humor into my writing. After that, I edit with my writing mentor, Brienne, who helps me look for places I can improve my storytelling. Editing is tedious, but working with Brienne makes it all worth it. After that, I add pictures, videos, graphs, and other visual elements. These help your readers picture what you're seeing and understand things from your point of view. Some graphs can also help convey data to your audience. The last thing I do is ensure that the article is engaging to my readers, and I have some tips and tricks for that, so let me show you. One of my favorite ways to engage the audience is by providing interactive elements like quizzes, subscriptions, or even a comments section. These give the reader a chance to interact with my site and can give them a sense of accomplishment while teaching them useful information about the content I'm sharing. On the screen is one of my favorite quizzes, the Georgia Wildlife Quiz. It was a big hit in my writing class, and I think everybody enjoyed testing their knowledge. I think the most used interactive element on my quiz is the like button. If you scroll to the end of a blog post, you can like, subscribe, or comment. And I think the liking requires the least amount of effort while still being an interesting way to interact. After all that, I'm finally ready to publish my blog. I love publishing day because of the sense of accomplishment it gives me. Blogging has definitely become an important aspect in my life. I've shared so many fascinating adventures with my growing audience. I hope this presentation inspired you to go out, have some of your own adventures, and to write about them. Please share any of your personal stories, questions, or feedback in the comments section of my blog, Oxford Kids Conference Feedback and Stories, which you can find using the QR code on the screen. Finally, I encourage you to go out, explore, and let your adventures inspire others.
That is a great note on which to finish the final presentation of the conference, that encouragement to everybody to go out and explore. So thank you for that, Millie. That's really great. Okay, we have, we're really perfect on timing. So again, questions to Millie about that. I mean, I just want to say, I think it was really brilliant that you chose to share and kind of reflect on the writing process. So you could obviously have shared what you've learned about herpetology, but to have that built on through what you've learned about the writing process was really fascinating. So thank you. Are there questions? Yeah.
Do you think it's important when making a blog to have anything that's like really unique to that blog? So like maybe like a unique interactive feature, or can you like stick to more conventional structures and still have something that's really successful?
Did you hear that, or do you need a summary?
I heard it. I think that it's important to make your blog I think the content is what has to be unique. Like on YouTube, there are a lot of different people who have grown because they have unique content, not because they have a special platform. I personally use a platform that called Buy Me a Coffee, and I think that's a really cool platform. And it definitely, you can customize the features in your blog. But yeah, I think the content is what really needs to be yours.
I had a question which links to the previous one about AI, because you talked about having a mentor, someone to collaborate with and help improve your writing. And I wanted to ask whether you thought that could be done by AI, or whether there's something about being able to talk it through with another human being and actually, share your writing as you're developing it.
I think that having Brianne, my mentor, is a lot different than using AI. I do use AI for certain things, like I can have it help me go through and edit, and like I can have it ask me questions to make sure I know the topic before I start writing. But I think having Brianne is definitely easier. It's easier to work with her, and you can connect on more of a personal level. And we've been working together for a really long time, and she knows me a bit more than the AI. So
that's really interesting, because I mean, obviously AI can tune in to you, but having someone who knows you, I think is really important and valuable. Yeah.
Does having a blog ever make you worry when you're younger?
Did you hear that? So has it ever worried you? you know, that experience of kind of putting stuff out online? Have you ever found that worrying?
Not necessarily. I mean, I try and make it a point not to put out certain parts of my personal life and certain information just out in the internet. But a lot of things already are collecting your personal information, and a lot of it is already out there. So I'm not too worried about it. Because yeah, I'm not sharing anything hugely personal. It's just the experiences.
But it's really good to hear that you're kind of thinking carefully about what you are sharing. I think that's really good advice for everybody. Any other questions? Yeah.
What would you say has been the most positive response you've had to your blog?
I think the most positive response is just so on my blog, there's a feature to basically donate. It's called Buy Me a Book, and you can donate to me. And I think that's been the most positive thing. I've actually made quite a bit of money off of it, and it's really reassuring when someone's willing to donate to you because they like the work you're doing.
Okay, so I mean that's a really interesting example, that if you want to, you know, be able to take your work further, and lots of you in your presentations have wanted to be able to take the research further and how you raise money. So sharing what you're learning as a way to take forward. Thank you so much, Millie. As I said, it was really, yes, let's applaud there. Great to hear. And as I said, the encouragement there to share, I know, I mean, I've taught so many teachers who come back and say, oh, the point in lessons when we say to the students, and now you've got to write a paragraph. Maybe if we turned it into, and now you need to write a blog, that might move things forward. But actually it is fabulous to see people who recognise the importance of communicating, and you've done it brilliantly orally, all of you, and in visual presentations. But it's also great to see the importance of being able to write well about what you're doing. So thank you for the encouragement to share via a blog. Stephen also earlier encouraged people to publish through Kids Conference, that they are happy to you know, collate examples, and the power of that work taken together, you know, what matters to young people and how you are exploring and researching is really valuable to bring together. So do think about writing and taking that forward.